Hello and welcome to the first audio video review by Admiral.Skeybar. Why do I do video reviews now? Well, one, because I haven't got a lot of time at the moment, and two, because my written reviews tend to get too long and boring for people to read anyway. The video you see here is a recording of me playing the game. So, PlanetSide 2. I must admit, at first I wasn't too attracted to this game. Someone got me to sign up for the beta, but I never actually got as far as trying it out, even though I did get selected as a beta participant. The reason for this was the idea of 1,000 people on a map screaming noob over voice chat didn't seem too appealing to me. However, after seeing some videos of the game, I figured I'd give it a go anyway. The game does not start out with a tutorial mission. It simply drops you, quite literally, into the battle. My first impression was, oh my god, what's going on? The game seemed like a mess. There were tanks, aircraft, people all over the place. They all looked the same. I'll get back to that later. So what did I do? I pressed the trigger button and ran right into the heat of battle. Big surprise, I died. Then I tried looking for an enemy to fire at. When I did, I'd run after him and, well, die. After I repeated that pattern for a couple of times with the various classes, for about 6 hours to be precise, I think I started to get the hang of things. As I discovered, PlanetSide 2 is a lot about aiming. The skill needed to take out an enemy, no matter what rank they are, tends to lie in aiming your crosshair over the head, neck area, and just spamming the fire button. After that, you need to start learning your class, in my case, the Infiltrator class. The class you choose depends on what kind of gameplay you like. If you like the straightforward approach, just running and gunning, you'll most likely want to go for a heavy assault class. They're very effective at taking out pretty much any enemy, and they can take a beating without dying instantly. If you're more into being a support class, I think you'll find the medic and engineer classes very rewarding. They have the ability to heal and repair, and this gives you great experience points. Not to mention the other classes really need medics to keep them alive, and the engineers to keep the vehicles running. Now I chose to go for the NC faction. This means I fight the Vanu Sovereignty and the Terran Republic. As I said earlier, at first I couldn't tell an enemy from a friendly. This is because the classes indeed do look a lot like each other. The Terran Republic is red, but in the dark they have pretty much the same silhouette as the NC units. And the Vanu, well, they're purple. Purple in a game where lighting is made to reflect the color of the factions controlling an area. This means that with the right lighting, a Vanu unit may look like they have exactly the same color as your units. Vehicles have a similar problem. There are a lot of standard vehicles all of the factions use, and usually the only thing setting them apart from your own unit is their color. And again, in this game with a lot of focus on lighting effects, things may not always be what they appear. Naturally, your units have little blue arrows over their heads. That helps a lot. Going back to the classes for a bit. Note that most of this only applies to the NC faction. It seems they balanced the game by making every unit overpowered in some way. In fact, I'd say the only units that don't have the initial hint of supernatural power to them are the Light Assault and Infiltrator classes. The Light Assault class has a jetpack, epic, but that's about it. This class is very basic, and if you don't need a jetpack, you may just as well go for Heavy Assault. They have a shield and a saw machine gun, a much more powerful weapon than the assault rifle you start out with as a Light Assault class. It isn't necessarily as accurate though. However, the horrible iron sights on the beginner assault rifle really decreased my accuracy a lot, whereas the iron sights of the heavy assault machine gun are great for accurate medium range fire. So, no point for the assault class from me. As for the Infiltrator, well, it's the class I play the most. I love playing Infiltrator, even though it might just be the hardest class to play as. The reason I started out playing as an Infiltrator early on in the game was because it was the only class I felt I knew how to play as. It reminded me a lot of the Infiltrator class in the Mass Effect games. As an Infiltrator, you have the ability to cloak for about 12 seconds. It may not sound like much, but it's sufficient if you plan your approach right. It's also very useful for staying hidden while sniping. As for the weapons you get, well, it's a sniper rifle and a pistol plus some random tool gun thing you'll never use. The sniper rifle is a bolt-action rifle with great accuracy and range. You'll also get a medium to long-range scope attached to it. The pistol, on the other hand, is something of a disappointment. Again, this is only for the NC, but I find that the iron sights on the pistol are crap. However, it's your only weapon for close quarters combat. Once you upgrade your favorite class, you'll get some extra perks you can use to get an edge. I upgraded my Infiltrator to carry proximity mines. Those are a blast to use. See what I did there? Anyway, the game requires you to do a lot of grinding at first, just to rank up and to get actual skill in the game. I imagine very little people can jump into this game and be an immediate pro. This game does pick its moments, but when it does, it can be truly epic, be it defending a narrow mountain pass with 8 other snipers or watching the light show of fire at night as tanks and aircraft battle it out on a large open plain. At those moments, the game can be truly great. I must say though, a lot of people who call this game pay to win honestly don't know what they're talking about. I haven't bought anything in the game and I don't feel like I need to. To be honest, I actually feel sorry for the people who spend money on in-game items and a subscription. You don't get anything truly worthwhile, and the only really exclusive items you can buy with money are cosmetic items like camouflage and spoilers for your pimped truck or hovercraft. My advice is, don't buy anything in PlanetSide 2, it's not worth the money you pay for it. On the technical side, the game does require a pretty decent computer to run. You also need a decent bit of luck that your hardware is compatible. Sometimes the game does glitch out, and you're suddenly standing in a great grey void with just your HUD and the sound effects playing. A game restart usually fixes that for me though. I also have huge lag spikes, usually followed by the previously mentioned problem. This usually happens in the really big battles with a lot of tanks and vehicles. It also doesn't give you a lot of options for movement in the game. I'd expected a walk button, or possibly even a prone button. None of these exist, and far too often you find yourself running off a cliff or high up landing pad simply because your character moves too damn fast. Movement in the game is very simplistic, and it doesn't feel like it lives up to the standard of the rest of the game. The physics engine isn't the greatest either, especially for vehicles, though these are limitations they most likely put in on purpose, and I can live with them. I've had a lot of fun with this game. They're not always perfect, and though it could use some improvements here and there, I would still say the game is well made and that Sony did a great job creating a fun game to play. I would give this game an overall 6 out of 10 as a rating, and I will be playing it a lot more. Thank you for watching. If you like these reviews better than my written reviews, please leave a comment. If not, well, you could post a comment with that as well.